Krishna. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 22, Text 25. But before that, we chanted yesterday, we spoke from till text number 13. Yesterday we spoke till text number 13. Yes. So today 14 to 25 is the verses. So I will just chant the verses from 14 to 24, and then 25 verse you can please respond. Text 14. Purusha prakritir vyaktam ahankaro nabho nilah jyotir apah kshitir iti tatvan uttani mevnava. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I have described the 9 basic elements as the enjoying soul, nature, nature's primeval manifestation of the Mahat Tattva, false ego, ether, air, fire, water, and earth. Purport. Prakriti or nature is originally unmanifest and later becomes manifest as the Mahat Tattva. Although the living entity is Purusha, an enjoyer, the real process by which he can enjoy is by satisfying the transcendental senses of the Lord, just as the hand eats by supplying food to the stomach. Within material nature, the living entity becomes a false enjoyer, forgetting his subservience to the Lord. The material elements as well as the living entity and the super soul are thus systematically analyzed to demonstrate to the conditioned soul his actual constitutional position beyond material nature. Text 15. Shrotram tvag darshanam grano jiveti jnana shaktayah vakpanupasta payongri karman ango bhayam manaha. Hearing, touch, sight, smell, and taste are the 5 knowledge-acquiring senses. My dear Uddhava, and speech, the hands, the genitals, the anus, and the legs constitute the 5 working senses. The mind belongs to both these categories. Purport. 11 elements are mentioned in this verse. Text 16. Shabdaha sparsho raso gandho rupam chet artha jatayah gat ukt utsarga shilpani karmayatana siddhaya. Sound, touch, taste, smell, and form are the objects of the knowledge-acquiring senses, and movement, speech, excretion, and manufacture are function of the working senses. Purport. Here the word utsarga refers to evacuation by the genitals and anus, and thus constitutes 2 elements. In this way, 10 elements are listed here in 2 sets of 5. Text 17. Sargado prakritir asya karya karana rupini sattvadibir guner datte purusho vyakta ikshate. In the beginning of creation, nature assumes by the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance its form as the embodiment of all subtle causes and gross manifestations within the universe. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not enter the interaction of material manifestation, but merely glances upon nature. Purport. The Personality of Godhead is not subject to transformation like the subtle and gross material elements. Thus, the Lord is avyakta, or not materially manifest at any stage of cosmic evolution. Regardless of the specific method of cataloging the material elements, the Lord remains the ultimate creator, maintainer, and annihilator of the total cosmic situation. Text 18. Vektadayo vikurvana datavaha purushekshaya labdavirya srajant andam sammataha prakritir balat. As the material elements, headed by the Mahat Tattva, are transformed, they receive their specific potencies from the glance of the Supreme Lord, and being amalgamated by the power of nature, they create the universal egg. Text 19. Shapteva datava iti tatrarta panchakhadayah jnanam atmo bhayadaras tato de indriyasavah. According to some philosophers, there are 7 elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether, along with the conscious spirit soul and the supreme soul, who is the basis of both the material elements and the ordinary spirit soul. According to this theory, the body, senses, life, air, and all material phenomena are produced from these 7 elements. Purport. Having explained his own viewpoint, the Lord now summarizes various other analytic methodologies. Text 20. Shadit atrapi bhutani panchashashta parapuman teryukta atma sambhute shrishvedam samupavishat. Other philosophers state that there are 6 elements, the 5 physical elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and the 6th element, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That Supreme Lord, endowed with the elements that He has brought forth from Himself, creates this universe and then personally enters within it. Purport: Srila Sridhar Swami states that according to this philosophy, the ordinary living entity is included within the category of Supersoul. This theory thus accepts only the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the 5 physical elements. Text 21. Chatvare veti tatrapi teja apo nam atmanah jatani teridam jatam jama vayanivah khalu. Some philosophers propose the existence of 4 basic elements, of which 3, fire, water, and earth, emanate from the 4th, the self. Once existing, these elements produce the cosmic manifestation in which all the material creation takes place. Text 22. Sankyane sapta dashake bhuta matendriyani cha pancha panchaika manasa atma sapta dasha smrita. Some calculate the existence of 17 basic elements, namely the 5 gross elements, the 5 objects of perception, the 5 sensory organs, the mind, and the soul as the 17th element. Text 23. Tadvat shodasha sankhyaane atmeva mana uchyate bhutendriyani panchaiva mana atma trayodasha. According to the calculation of 16 elements, the only difference from the previous theory is that the soul is identified with the mind. If we think in terms of 5 physical elements, 5 senses, the mind, the individual soul, and the Supreme Lord, there are 13 elements. Purport: According to the theory of 13 elements, the sense objects, aroma, taste, form, touch, and sound, are considered byproducts of the interaction of the senses and physical matter. Text 24. Ekadashatva atmasu mahabhutendriyani cha asto prakritayaschaiva purushascha navet ata. Counting 11, there are the soul, the gross elements, and the senses. 8 gross and subtle elements plus the Supreme Lord would make 9. Text 25. Please respond. Iti nana prasankyanam tatvanam rishibhi kritam sarvam nyayam yukti matvad vidusham kim ashobhanam. Iti nana prasankhyanam tatvanam rishibhi kritam sarvam nyayam yukti matvad vidusham kim ashobhanam. Iti nana prasankhyanam tatvanam rishibhi kritam sarvam nyayam yuktimatvad vidusham kim ashobhanam. Word to word meaning. Iti, in these ways, nana, various, prasankyanam, enumeration, tatvanam, of the elements, rishibhihi, by the sages, kritam, has been done, sarvam, all this, nyayam, logical, yuktimatvat, because of the presentation of rational arguments, vidusham, of those who are learned, kim, what, ashobhanam, lack of brilliance. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Srilesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Thus, great philosophers have analyzed the material elements in many different ways. All of their proposals are reasonable since they are all presented with ample logic. Indeed, such philosophical brilliance is expected of the truly learned. Purport: the material world has been analyzed in innumerable ways by innumerable brilliant philosophers. But the conclusion is always one: the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Aspiring philosophers need not waste their precious time showing off their intellectual brilliance, because there is little left to analyze on the material platform. One should simply surrender to the absolute truth, the supreme element, Lord Sri Krishna, and uncover one's eternal consciousness of God. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Namaom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yonta praveshya mama vachamimam prasuptan sanjivayata kila shakti dhara swadhamna anyam shahasta charana shravana tvagadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam katanchana smrite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrite vipritam sya Shri Chaitanya namamitam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the morning Bhagavatam class. Thank you for coming. And we are continuing our discussion from the chapter Elements of Material Creation. Today we'll focus on the two purports of text number 14 and text number 25, where two important points stand out. One is surrender to Krishna is more important than accumulation of knowledge. Simply knowing about Krishna is not sufficient. We need to take it one step further and offer our heart to Krishna. And in text 14 that we chanted some time ago, the verse and the purport emphasizes on our position as a servant. Srila Prabhupada would give a beautiful example often about the hand doesn't enjoy the food. The hand puts the food in the mouth and then it goes to the stomach. So the stomach is fed and the hand is also nourished. Or the finger is part of the hand. Similarly, he would say, we are all part of Krishna. Mamevamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana sastani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. Krishna says, all the living entities are my parts and parcels. And they're eternal. But unfortunately, with the mind and senses, they are struggling in this world. So, to re-establish in our spiritual position, what we need to do is we need to connect with Krishna, which is like the finger connected to the hand. And when we serve Krishna, when we glorify Krishna, although we are glorifying Krishna, it appears, and it is, we are making Krishna happy, When we do that, we also become happy. That is our Bhakti Yoga philosophy. Instead of individually seeking gratification, we try to make the Lord happy. The fourth canto has a beautiful verse. Yata taror mula nishechanena tripyanti tatskanda bujo pashakha pranopahara chayatendriyanam tateva sarvaranamachyutejya. Just like yata taror mula nishechanena, just like you put water not on the leaves or on the fruits, but you put the water on the roots of the tree, then automatically the leaves, the branches, the fruits, they're all nourished. Or that's how tripyanti tatskanda bhujopashaka, the branches, twigs, everyone gets satisfied. And similarly, pranopahara chaitendriyanam, we put food in the stomach, automatically all the senses get nourished. Similarly, tateva sarvaranamachyutejya. Similarly, if we individually think of consciously of pleasing Krishna, then we will also become happy. Because this is our natural position to serve the Lord. Like, what is the natural position of a chili? Anybody tasted chilies? When you taste a chili, what happens? Hot. Spicy, right? Chili is not sweet. You don't get sweet chilies in the market. Chili by constitution is hot, spicy. What about sugar? What is its constitutional position? Sweet. It is not sour. What is the constitutional position of water? Wet, liquid. So, similarly, what is our natural position? Jivera swarupa hoye, Krishnera nitya das. Service is our natural position. It seamlessly, it's part of who we are, service. We all are naturally always serving. So if we connect to God and serve everyone as servants of God, wow, then we are always peaceful. When Srila Prabhupada was in Stowe Lake, I think in California, he was walking with his devotees. He had his walking cane and it was ice. The lake had become ice because of the freezing winter. Srila Prabhupada walked up to the lake and to the surprise of all the devotees, he picked up his walking stick and started beating the ice and breaking the ice. And devotees are wondering, why is Srila Prabhupada doing this? And then when he broke some ice and water came out. And then Srila Prabhupada looked at the disciples and gravely, and then he smiled and he said, this is my job. Ice is artificial condition of water. I break the ice so that the natural position of water is revealed. Similarly, with my preaching, my speeches, my talks, my writings, I am breaking through the artificial barriers that we have imposed on ourselves. And I am attempting to bring the conditioned soul back to its natural position of service to Krishna, which is where we actually find deep fulfillment and contentment. So therefore, in Hare Krishna movement, we are not against enjoying. We are not against being happy. We just want to be connected to God. That's our path. Sometimes people say, oh, you don't enjoy? You say you're not. No, we are very clear. We don't want to enjoy like God. We want to enjoy with God. There is a big difference between these two statements. Enjoying like God, I'm the greatest. No, that's not our path. Our path is, we enjoy with God by serving God. The servant enjoys as he's serving the master. I don't know how it is in India, but in the West, but in India it's very, when we are born as a child, in many families the child is pampered by the parents before he still is 4 or 5. I remember most children, when we grow up, even when we are rushing to school, the mother would be feeding us and we would be eating, and then mother would also tie the shoelace. I'm so small, vulnerable, helpless. And the mother would be feeding chapatis in the mouth, and then she would also tie the shoelace, and then I would run, and mother would dress us, decorate us, then we would run. Actually, if you see, in our original constitutional position, This is what we do with Krishna. We decorate Krishna, we dress Krishna, we feed Krishna, we bathe Krishna, we sing glories of Krishna. But in this material world, I want to be fed, I want to be decorated, I want to be enjoying. So therefore this disease starts right from the childhood. I want to be the center of the universe. When the child is born in India, in the cradle, everybody comes, all the family and friends and neighbors come and see the child. Wow, this child is so beautiful. Look at his nose, he's just like his mother. Look at his, face, he looks just like his father. They start talking, cuddling the child, mollycoddling the child. The child is looking with his little small eyes and he's saying, everybody's looking at me and appreciating me. That's where the disease begins of being the center of the universe. I have come, I am the greatest. Oh, I am so wonderful. That's where our diseased condition begins. But that's not who we are. We are actually supposed to do all of that with Krishna. And when we do that, we feel actual deep fulfillment. When we come, we glorify Nilamadav, we glorify Giriraj, we sing, we dance. And then we also become happy. Srila Prabhupada, Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he explains that this material nature, if we do not understand this principle and instead seek to enjoy ourselves, then the material nature gets cruel. Not because she is vindictive or not because she is evil. It's just that's the law of this world. We need to get purified and go back to Krishna and be in this situation where we are naturally serving. Therefore, Krishna in the Gita, he says, Maya adakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. In my adhyakshita, under my supervision, the material nature is conducting the affairs of this material world. And everything is happening. The material energy is doing. She imposes hardships, sufferings on us. Just like, imagine, somebody is in a prison. If he's in a jail, if he's in a prison house, can you demand, well, I want a menu card today. I want good food. I want a pizza. What is this? I want to watch Netflix, Amazon Prime, web series. What is this? I want to watch good movies. I want an air condition in my room. Well, you are in the prison, sir. You won't get all these facilities. You can't demand. Right? When we are in a prison, we can't demand. Similarly, in this material world, when we go through hardships and suffering, we ask questions like, why me? Why is life not comfortable? Why don't I get what I want? Well, sir, please remember, you are in the prison. We can't always get what I want. That's not how life is in this material world. Suffering means we get what we don't want, and we don't get what we want. That's the definition of suffering, and material world is filled with this. So therefore, Krishna has made a beautiful system so that we get purified in this prison and we understand, well, this is not natural for me, I need to get out. Unfortunately, many of us, we want to be comfortable within the prison. And we want to be enjoying. We don't want to think of a world beyond this where there is freedom. Therefore, Krishna has created, the material energy has created two powers. Prakshepatmika Shakti and Avaranatmika. Avaranatmika Shakti means the covering potency of the Lord. The potency covers us, the illusion, and we are bewildered and we are in this material world and thinking, I'm comfortable here, I'm comfortable in the prison. And then there is Prakshepatmika, kicking potency. The covering potency and the kicking potency. The material energy covers us, covers our intelligence, and we seek to be comfortable within the prison house. And then when we are comfortable, she kicks us. And we are like, hey, what is happening? I'm suffering. Oh, this is bad. This material world is very bad. I should get out. After some time, she covers our intelligence and we forget that I have to get out of this world. And then when I forget I have to get out of this world and I'm thinking I'm comfortable in this world, suddenly she kicks us. What an amazing system the Lord has created. It's like you're in a boxing ring and you're fighting with your opponent and he punches you. And you are completely getting badly beaten. And you are 5 feet and this opponent is 10 feet tall, very strong. and he's knocking you out. And what would you do if you are getting beaten? You would want to say, I quit, right? And this is a game in material world. This game you can't quit, but you can't win either. What a game we are playing. Just imagine, you're in a boxing ring and you can't win. So naturally you want to quit. But you can't quit. You may say, okay, I can't quit, then let me win. You can't win either. It's only misery. But there is this covering potency. This covers us and we get bewildered. We don't understand. And our desires make us go around like crazy. In one of the wisdom books of India, Niti Shastra, very graphic analogy is given. Asha means desires. How we are trapped by our desires. Asha nama manushyanam kaschid afcharya shrinkala. This desires is an interesting rope. The Indian wisdom books compare our desires to a rope. What do you do with a rope? You tie a person. So it is said that these ropes of desires, they bind us. Now look at the irony, look at the paradox here. Asha nama manushyanam kafchid afcharya shrinkala, a surprising rope called desires. What does it do? Yata baddha pradavanti mukta tishtanti panguvat. One who is bound by the ropes of these desires. Now generally what happens if you are bound by the rope? Generally if you are bound by a rope, what happens? You can't move, right? But the ropes of desires are so strong and so ironical that when they bind you, you run everywhere. Mukta tishtanti panguvat. And when you are freed from those ropes of material desires, you can stay in one place, completely peaceful. That's the beauty of this, or the irony of this. And we don't realize, because we are covered. We are covered. Like, I met one devotee. He grew up in an orphanage. So one day I was asking him, how's life like in an orphanage? In India, we have many orphanages. The children are, they don't have parents and they are taken care. So he was telling me an interesting story. He said when they were young, they grew up very tough. That orphanage was very austere. And he says, some of the boys, if we wanted to bash them up, but there were supervisors and caretakers, they wouldn't want us to commit violence. So what we would do, when one of these leaders, the bad guys, was sleeping at night, all of us would quietly go up to him with our blankets. And suddenly, at the signal, we all would put the blankets on top of him and then start kicking him, pounding him, beating him very badly for 5 minutes, and he would be screaming. And after beating him very badly, and then all of us would run and go back to our beds and sleep. By the time he removes all the blankets and then switches on the light, and then he realizes, but everybody's sleeping. So he doesn't know he has no idea who's beaten him. So then when he was explaining his orphanage life, I was listening to him and I realized this is how our life is in material world. Avaranatmika Shakti, we are covered. And when we are covered, it's not that we are sleeping comfortably. We are beaten also. And when we try to understand what's happening, who's done it, we can't figure out. Unless we have, of course, scriptures and devotees. That's why you see in material world, it's interesting. If you see, everybody is suffering, but most of the people are not planning to get out of the material world. Isn't this amazing? Although we are all suffering, we don't want to get out of the material world. Just imagine, because material energy is expert, she doesn't make all of us go through suffering at the same time. When you are suffering, I may be enjoying, and I may have hope. And when I am suffering and getting beaten, you may get some pleasure, and you feel, oh, there is hope. And hope dies last. Imagine all of us were suffering at the same time, with the same intensity. What would happen? We all would get together and we would pass a resolution in the United Nations that material world is a miserable place. Let us get out of this material world. Let us go back home, back to Krishna. But she is expert. Therefore, she is expert in covering our intelligence. And therefore, in the section, the purport is very emphatically saying, ultimately, after understanding all of this, come to Krishna. Therefore, in the Gita, Krishna says beautifully, Devyesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mamevai prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. He says, Arjuna, my energy, my material energy it's extremely powerful, duratyaya, insurmountable. And it is my maya, mama maya, it's my maya, and it is duratyaya. He says, remember, there are two words here. It's my maya. And also he is saying it is insurmountable. If he had said it is insurmountable, we would have thought, well, it's insurmountable, but I can overcome it. But Krishna is saying, my maya. It's not easy. You can't surmount what I have created. Mama maya. And if you had only said mama, it's my maya, if you hadn't used the adjective insurmountable, then we would have thought, oh, it is Krishna's. Krishna is sweet. Neel Madhav is smiling. So everything is nice. Maya is nice. So Krishna has used both adjectives, is both things. He's saying my maya and insurmountable maya. So that we are alarmed. And it's basically, it's something like, it's like, imagine, Krishna has created a system of maya who actually makes us go through suffering. And it's Krishna who did it. And Krishna is telling us how to get out also. Mamevae prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Surrender to me and you'll get out of this material world. So Krishna is giving us the solution in the same verse. Get out. I'll help you get out. But he's also telling that I've created maya to punish you. It's like a thief is told by his friend, you know what? This rich man there, he sleeps early and he is a sound sleeper and he keeps his door open. So you can go at night and steal all his valuable jewels and precious, you can steal his iPhone and his laptop, everything you can steal at night. And the thief is very grateful to his friend and he plans to go at night. And you know what the friend does? He also goes to the owner of the house and tells him that tonight, this guy is going to come and steal your stuff. So what do you think the owner would do? He would be ready. And this is what is happening with us. We, material energy, we want to exploit, we want to enjoy the material energy, but Krishna has created a system, okay, you enjoy, and then he's also created a system of punishing us. So we can't, we are trapped. So we need to understand how the dynamics of material world works, and we need to get smart and go back to Krishna. And say that I don't want to enjoy in this material world. I want to serve Krishna and go back to Krishna and enjoy with Krishna. You may say, but why does Krishna create such harsh system? Srila Prabhupada writes very beautifully in the book Teachings of Queen Kunti, and that it's a series of lectures he gave in Los Angeles in 1973. So in one place, Srila Prabhupada says that Maya Devi tests devotees so much because she wants to know whether we want to. Jai Shri Shri Radha Neel Madhav Bhagwan ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Chandra, Nitai Chaitanya Chandra ki Jai, Shri Giraj ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada says, Maya Devi wants to know whether we want to serve Krishna or whether we want to disturb Krishna. We can never disturb Krishna, the Supreme Lord. But the mood here is, we are not qualified, we can't go back to the spiritual world. So therefore, what is the solution Krishna is saying? Mamevae prapadyante. Just surrender to me. Come to me. Now what does surrender actually mean? Surrender basically means just add emotions for Krishna in your service. Of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given a systematic understanding of surrender. Anukulasya sankalpa, pratikulasya varjanam. Accept things that are favorable for devotional service and reject things that are unfavorable. But at the same time, practically speaking, when we are absorbed in the externals of bhakti, we need to understand surrender means to somehow add emotions, somehow fix our mind on Krishna. Yena kena prakarena manah Krishna niveshayat. Somehow offer your mind, offer your feelings, emotions to Krishna. And then you will see Maya, which has been harassing us, will facilitate our journey to Krishna. In His Holiness, Srila Sachinandana Swami Maharaj gives a beautiful example. He says, when he was a young boy, he worked as a newspaper boy. He would go and drop newspapers at different houses. And at one house, when he was dropping the newspaper, you would see a big board which said, "Beware of dog." So he was scared. So he would always throw the newspaper from outside the gate. But at the end of the month, he had to collect the money. So he walked in scared and slowly, cautiously. And as he entered the house, he suddenly saw a big dog chase him, barking at him. And he began to run, and the dog was about to pounce on him. And as the dog was about to pounce on him, the owner, he whistled and he shouted, "Brownie, quiet." And the dog immediately became quiet and started licking this boy. Sachinandan Swami Maharaj was a young boy then. So then Maharaj was saying, we are being chased, harassed by Maya like this dog was chasing me. But I went to the owner of the dog. So if you come in front of Krishna, Radha Nil Madhav, then Krishna will whistle. Krishna will tell Maya, "Okay, stop harassing him. He is mine." So then Maya will actually help us come closer to Krishna. And this is how we practice devotional service. We somehow, whenever we are suffering because of Maya, we come to Krishna. Not externally. We add emotions. "Krishna, please help me. Krishna, I want to serve you." Somehow. The famous pastime in the 8th canto of Bhagavatam, Gajendra, his feet is caught by the crocodile. And he is desperate to get out. He's in the elephant's body. And the elephant is desperate to get out, and the crocodile is biting him. And he's suffering. And that time he gets a beautiful realization on Maya, which is very interesting. He says, "Yakaschanesho balinontako ragat prachanda vegat abhidavato brisham bhitam prapannam pratipati adbhayan mrityu pradhavat aranam tato naha." He says, this Maya, this material energy, is like a huge serpent which is chasing a man. The man is running. See, one of the amazing things in Bhagavatam and the Indian scriptures is that they explain concepts with very poetic analogies. So here, an analogy is given of a serpent chasing a man who is fearful and running away from the serpent. Prachanda vegat abhidavato brusham. He's running. And then what happens? Bhitam prapannam pratipati advayan. And he comes in front of Krishna. And he looks at Nil Madhav. "Krishna, this serpent is chasing me." And then what happens? Mrityu pradhavat aranam tato naha. When you come in front of Krishna and you look back and you see the serpent has also turned back, because the serpent has seen Krishna. And Krishna starts chasing that serpent. And you are like, "Wow, the serpent was chasing me. I came to Krishna. Now serpent is running away and Krishna is chasing." But you may think, after hearing all of this, but does Krishna have the wherewithal? Does Krishna have the potency and the power to actually protect me from the suffering that I go through in this world? Because all of us are suffering in our own way. But does Krishna really have power? So to clarify that, in the next verse, he explains again very graphically how Krishna protects us. Madrik prapanna pashupasha vimokshanaya muktaya bhuri karunaya namo layaya swamshena sarvatanu brun manasi pratita pratyagdrishe bhagavate brihate namaste. He says Krishna is the best protector because Madrik prapanna, I am surrendering to you, Krishna, because Pashupasha, I am bound by this animal body of an elephant and this crocodile is biting me, but Vimokshanaya, only you can liberate me. How can Krishna liberate you? He gives an analogy. He explains, because Krishna has these few characteristics. First is, Muktaya, Krishna is free. Imagine you are bound by the ropes to a tree and you are suffering. Oh, help, help, help. You're crying, help me. So we are like that. We are suffering in this material world, bound by the ropes of material desires, and we are crying, Krishna, help, help. And somebody comes to help you. You see somebody who can help you, but you see carefully, oh, he is also tied to a tree. If somebody is tied to a tree and you tell him, please help me, please release me from these ropes. And he says, yes, yes, I love you, I'll release you, but he is also bound. Can he help you? No. Therefore Gajendra says, Muktaya, the first quality of Krishna is, unlike me who is bound, Krishna is free. That is the first quality. But the second quality is more important. He says Krishna is not only free, but Muktaya Bhuri Karunaya. He actually is compassionate. Imagine you are bound by the tree rope and somebody comes and you say, help me. And you are asking him for help because you see that he is not bound, he is free. So naturally you have hope, right? He will help you, he will release you. And he comes close to you and says, he picks out more rope and binds you more. So just because somebody is free is not qualified to help us. He has to also be compassionate. So Gajendra is revealing that Muktaya, Krishna is free, but Krishna is also Bhuri Karunaya. Krishna is very compassionate. Now even these two is not important. There is a third most important quality. Like, imagine you're bound by the ropes and somebody is walking and you see he's free. And he can help you. Secondly, he is also compassionate. You know him. He is your close friend, best friend. So naturally, both the qualities are there, so he can help you. But as he comes close to you, you start shouting, help me, my dear friend. And he is busy listening to music on his iPhone, and he is watching some movies, he's scrolling through YouTube, and is walking just past you. He is not alert, he is not attentive. Therefore, this third quality is very important. Namo Layaya. Namo Layaya means supremely alert. Krishna is 24/7 alert to see how we are turning to him, when we are turning to him. There are three things here. Madrik Prapanna Pashupasha Vimokshanaya Muktaya Bhuri Karunaya Namo Layaya. So you may say, okay, Krishna has these three amazing qualities. He is free. What is the first one? He is free. Second, he is compassionate. And third, alert. So you have a friend who is free, who is compassionate, and who is also alert. You may say, where is he? I want to find him. I'm bound, I'm suffering. I want to call out. How do I call out? Where is he? Swam Shena Sarva Tanubrun Manasi Pratita. He is there in your heart. Connect to your own heart. Go deep within. Krishna, call out. Purify your aspirations. And all these three qualities of his, you may say, well, my friend is free, he is compassionate, but he is also alert, but not always, sometimes. No, you don't have to worry. The last line says, Pratyak Drishe Bhagavate Brihate Namaste. All these qualities in Krishna are in Brihate. Brihad Mridanga we say, big, big. Krishna has unlimited compassion. Krishna has unlimited alertness. Krishna has unlimited freedom. Therefore, Krishna is the best bet we have. And therefore, we need to approach Krishna in this mood. Krishna, I am yours. I want to serve you. And this is my last life. Krishna, I want to really come. And that's how Gajendra picked up a lotus flower and with all his effort, he offered it to Krishna. With this kind of intense prayer. And then Krishna released him. So let us be servant of Krishna. Let us pray to Krishna. And let us celebrate the fact that we have Krishna with us. And then, although we are getting kicked and beaten by this material world, we will feel, just like when somebody is going through surgery and there is anesthesia given to reduce the pain. So this association of devotees, wonderful devotees, Sangha is the anesthesia that helps us handle what we are going to get, what is due to us. But life will become blissful. Even though we are suffering in this material world, we will be happy. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. Vidhi Mahendra Dishakita. Prabodhanand Saraswati says, this world is a beautiful place. It's amazing. Philosophically, we know this world is a place of suffering, but because we have Krishna, this world becomes a beautiful, happy place. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any comments or questions regarding today's class? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you very much. Captivating class. People say that suffering is necessary because we don't have that side that you can experience the pleasant side. So the duality is required. So how do you respond?
You mean the non-devotees? You mean those who don't want to avoid Krishna? They give this argument.
You might say that this world is full of suffering. It's a problem, and they'll say, no, it's actually good. You need suffering to experience.
Yeah.
The
So,
pleasantries.
So if I understand your question correctly, people who want to avoid spiritual life, who want to avoid Krishna consciousness, they justify. They say that, well, I'm going through suffering because the suffering is helping me enjoy better later because this is a balancing out. Well, this is a clever answer. This is like you're trying to be clever, but to be honest, you ask, if you're honest, nobody wants to suffer. We want to be always happy because that's how we are. We are justifying. There's a justification we are giving because we're not getting unlimited happiness. This is an intellectual adjustment we are making. But ideally, we want to be experiencing unending happiness. It's like, somebody, I don't know how the education system works in America. In India, if you take some exam and you're qualifying for a degree, you have 5 subjects and you have to pass all the subjects. And then you get the degree. You can't say, I want to fail in 2 subjects so that I can experience the joy of passing in 3 subjects. You don't say, let my house burn and let my house catch fire so that I can enjoy the happiness of later on when I am in the house. No, nobody wants suffering, but it comes, so we justify because we are not able to avoid it. We are not able to circumvent it. So, therefore, let us not fool ourselves. Let us say require little honesty. To practice spiritual life, we need little honesty. So what we get here is, it's like getting sweet rice mixed with sand. It's tough. And the hope dies last. Hope. And that hope makes us say all of this. I'll give a simple example. When I joined the temple, I was a young brahmachari. I had a lot of services I would do physically, and I had a big appetite also. And then Narsim Chaturdashi, we had a big fasting. Whole day we fast. And the evening, during those days, Narsim Chaturdashi, we would take grains after sunset. Although it is Vishnu Tattva, anyway, that's a long story, long ago. So then there was a big feast, and we were waiting, and all of us brahmacharis were sitting, and the person who brought the prasadam, everybody was looking at the giant cake that was made. And we wanted that, we want to enjoy that cake as the main Mahaprasad. So this devotee, he was serving all this rice, dal, chapati, all of that, and then the cake, we were all looking at the cake. And finally he brought the cake, and everybody had a big piece. And I remember picking up that cake, and I was waiting for this for so long. And I realized it's salt, not sweet. And you know what happened? Look at this. Look at how conditioned we are, the hope. I know how foolish I was. Salty. But spontaneously, I turned the cake and I bit the other side. Maybe hoping subconsciously that it is sweet here. So I was trying to... then somebody told me, Prabhu, it's salty everywhere. And then I realized, So this is what happens with us when we go through suffering. We don't want to accept. We are in denial. And denial, do you know? Denial is the worst kind of lie. Because that's the lie we speak to ourselves. The spiritual practices require acceptance, honesty. We need to be a seeker. We need to have this mindset. Okay, why am I suffering? Why am I suffering in this world? It requires humility to say that. Sanatana Goswami, Prabhupada says, and I was hearing one Prabhupada's lecture yesterday, November 1974, Mumbai. He says, Sanatana Goswami had a boat filled with gold. He was the Prime Minister of Bengal. And he comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and says, Ke ami, kene amar, jara tapotre, who am I? Why am I suffering in this world? And the world calls me a great scholar, but I'm a fool. I don't even know who I am. That humility was his qualification. We need humility to accept that life is tough and we are suffering. And this justification we give, Srila Prabhupada would say, can you avoid, do you want to become old and suffer? No, but you're forced to. Do you want to get diseased? No, but you get diseased. Do you want to die? Some people say, no, I don't mind dying. These are all clever answers, smart answers, and we just tell them Hare Krishna. We can't say anything. We can't say anything to them, Like one Srila Prabhupada was giving a class in Glasgow, and one man got up. The deities where darshan was going on, and he just, in the middle of the class, he got up. And he said, I don't mind becoming God. I don't mind becoming, Prabhupada said, if you don't serve God, you become a dog. Like the God, Prabhupada would say God, God. One who claims he is God is DOG, dog, like that. So this man got up and he said, Swamiji, I don't mind becoming a dog in my next life. Srila Prabhupada said, all the best. Please accept my respectful obeisances. That's it. Thank you. You can't argue with him. If somebody says that, what is the point of arguing? Yes, Hare Krishna. All the best. You have my blessings, Prabhupada said. Be the dog. So, I think we need to talk reasonably with those who are reasonable and open-minded. They understand. Jai Shri Shri Radha Nil Madhav Bhagwan ki Jai. Yeah. Abhay Mohan Prabhu, is that you? Is that your name? Yes. We have time for one more question? No? Okay, I think we take off after that. Oh, we can, he's saying. Yeah? Okay. Yes, Abhay Mohan Prabhu. Thank you. Last question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. You mentioned two qualities of the material energy, that it kicks and also covers. So why it is like that? Because we understand that there is suffering, and then we become alert that we need to become serious. But again, mind makes us forget that we were suffering, and makes us comfortable, and we start enjoying. Then again, suffering comes. Yeah. So, like if only suffering is there, and we try to serve Krishna and try to follow the spiritual path seriously, then there is a gradual progress. But if we forget that and try to enjoy again, then there is again a setback. So why this kind of system is made that it makes it forget that we are suffering?
I quoted that, no? Prabhupada's statement from Teachings of Queen Kunti that answers this question. Srila Prabhupada says, because Maya wants to test us whether we want to serve Krishna or whether we want to disturb Krishna. Which means whether you are really sincere. Your sincerity will be shown when you are able to tell Krishna with all your sincerity, Krishna, I want to serve you, I want nothing else. If that forgetfulness is not there, and if it becomes easy, see, anything good in this world also, if you want to get into MIT, if you want to get into Princeton, there has to be a challenge. If you get it easily, you may not value it. When you get things easily, you don't value it. When devotees go through suffering, and when they actually come to Krishna, then they grab onto Krishna's lotus feet. So it's to make us more desperate and more sincere. If things are given easily, we don't value it. Srila Prabhupada told this about Indians many times. He said the Westerners, they are far away from Krishna, but they are running towards Krishna. He said Indians are so close to Krishna, but they have turned away from Krishna. They are going away. They are looking towards the West. So we are so close to Krishna, but we love because we have taken it for granted. Now we say, oh, Krishna is ours, Krishna. We come to temple when Krishna calls me, as if we give a lot of, so we don't take it seriously. I remember my own very close relative, my sister. I had taken one Jonathan, one American devotee to her house. She is here. And I was hoping she'll become a devotee, she'll be impressed by him. I was hoping she will understand. And he's so gracious, charming. She saw him, met him, and then when we were leaving, she's telling me, these guys need it, they are Westerners. We already have. I said, but she's not practicing anyways. So that's what happens, if you don't forget and then we get kicked again, when we forget and we get kicked again, then we realize again we come back, again we fall, slip and slip, struggle, slip, and then we become strong. Right? If only once you slip and fall and then you get up and then you don't suffer, then you don't realize. We'll stop here, Prabhu. I think we are gone beyond 8:30. Yes. You can give a comment and then we can end. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I was just thinking that sometimes when we're executing our devotional service, we still suffer. Like it's very difficult, and often the phrase Krishna's mercy is there. But as someone who is going through that suffering, like how does one actually see that as?
Oh no. This is a very, very intense. When devotees go through suffering in their services, they need empathy, they need love, because material energy is tough, and devotees living in a devotee community, when we go through suffering, we need good friends who will empathize. Because our false egos clash when we come together, so we need devotees to remind us of Krishna, give us a shoulder, so that we can put our head and cry. Devotees go through purification, but it's not fair to say, oh, you're getting purified, it's mercy. We need to be kind. And sometimes we need third-party involvement, negotiation. We need to learn communication skills. We need to be kind. Otherwise, we can use philosophy to justify. See, this Bhagavatam class is meant for understanding the tattva, the philosophy. But its application, it's not that we cut-paste the statement from the Bhagavatam class and throw it at devotees who are suffering. No, we apply it differently. We apply with kindness, because devotees need love. So that's very. I'm glad you said this point in the end, because I've seen in the communities everywhere. One devotee left devotee community and he wrote a book, Why I Hate Hare Krishna. Because when he was sick, some devotees told him, this is karma, you're getting it and all of that. And he was like devastated. So I think little bit of kindness is needed. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.